In Lord of the Flies, William Golding constructs a dark and compelling allegory of human nature and society. Among the novel's ensemble of boys stranded on a deserted island, Simon emerges as one of the most enigmatic and spiritually resonant characters. Unlike Ralph, Jack, or Piggy, who are grounded in political or intellectual functions, Simon operates on a different plane. He is introspective, intuitive, and deeply connected to the natural world. His role in the narrative, symbolic significance, and broader philosophical implications make him a central figure in Golding's exploration of the innate duality of human nature. Role in the narrative. Simon plays a quiet but crucial role in the structure of Lord of the Flies. Early on, he is introduced as a member of Jack's choir, but he quickly distinguishes himself through acts of kindness and a sensitivity absent in the other boys. While characters like Ralph and Jack struggle for leadership and control, Simon often withdraws to a hidden clearing in the forest, seeking solitude and communion with nature. His gentleness is evident in small, telling moments, such as when he helps the younger children, the Litluns, gather fruit, or when he offers comfort rather than scorn. Simon's most significant narrative contribution comes in Chapter 9, when he encounters the Lord of the Flies, a severed pig's head mounted on a stick by Jack's hunters. In a hallucinatory and symbolic vision, the head speaks to Simon, confirming his suspicion that the absolute beast is not an external creature, but the darkness that resides within each human being. This moment represents the thematic climax of the novel, the revelation that the monster feared by the boys is a projection of their inner savagery. Tragically, Simon's attempt to share this truth with the others leads to his death. Mistaking him for the beast in the midst of a frenzied ritual dance, the boys beat him to death. His murder marks the turning point in the novel, the final breakdown of civility, and the complete descent into barbarism. Simon's death is a moment of profound horror and loss, as the voice of truth and morality is silenced in an orgy of fear and violence. Symbolic significance. Simon's character is rich with symbolic meaning, often interpreted through religious and philosophical lenses. One of the most prevalent interpretations is that Simon serves as a Christ figure. Like Christ, Simon retreats into the wilderness, resists temptation, represented by the Lord of the Flies, and seeks to enlighten others with spiritual truth. His death, much like Christ's, occurs because others cannot understand or accept his message. The savagery of his murder, followed by the natural imagery of his body drifting out to sea, evokes a tragic sense of martyrdom and purity. Beyond the Christian allegory, Simon also symbolizes the mystical or prophetic aspect of human consciousness, a figure who possesses insight into the true nature of existence. He sees what others cannot, that the beast is not an external threat, but something internal and psychological. He represents moral and spiritual clarity in a world descending into chaos. Where Piggy represents logic and Ralph order, Simon represents conscience and innate goodness. Simon's connection to nature is also deeply symbolic. He often retreats into a peaceful clearing surrounded by butterflies and flowers, in stark contrast to the destructive energy of the hunters. This affinity with nature positions him as a kind of natural mystic, perhaps even a prelapsarian figure, untainted by society's corrupting influence. In this sense, he symbolizes a vision of humanity unspoiled by fear, ambition, or ego. Broader implications. Simon's character has broader implications that resonate beyond the confines of the novel. On a psychological level, he represents the superego or the conscience in Freudian terms. This internal moral compass is overwhelmed by the more primal urges represented by Jack and his tribe. His death symbolizes the overpowering of ethical restraint by collective fear and aggression. From a societal perspective, Simon's fate serves as a warning against the marginalization or destruction of truth-tellers and visionaries. In times of crisis or hysteria, those who speak brutal truths often become scapegoats. Simon's murder can thus be read as a commentary on how societies sometimes reject those who challenge dominant fears or ideologies. Golding, a World War II veteran, wrote Lord of the Flies in the aftermath of global conflict and the Holocaust. Simon's insight, that evil is internal not external, speaks to Golding's bleak view of human nature, shaped by the atrocities he witnessed during his time. The novel suggests that without the structures of civilization to contain it, human beings regress to violence, superstition, and tribalism. Simon's death is not just a loss of innocence. It is a symbolic representation of what happens when the darker forces within us overpower reason, morality, and empathy. Simon's encounter with the Lord of the Flies is also central to the novel's title and message. The Lord of the Flies, a translation of the biblical name Beelzebub, is a direct representation of the devil or the principle of evil. That Simon alone faces and understands this truth marks him as a prophet, a lonely figure who confronts the abyss only to be destroyed by those who remain blind to it. Conclusion. Simon is a central, though understated, figure in Lord of the Flies. His narrative arc, from gentle outcast to murdered visionary, serves as a powerful critique of human nature and society. Through Simon, Golding dramatizes the tragic consequences of rejecting truth and compassion in favor of fear, instinct, and mob rule. Symbolically, Simon is multifaceted, a Christ figure, a mystic, a moral compass, and a seer. His fate underscores the novel's deepest themes, that the real danger lies not in some mythical beast, but in the hearts of human beings themselves. By silencing Simon, the boys doom themselves to a world ruled by violence and delusion. In the end, Simon's legacy within the novel is one of unheeded truth and moral clarity, a poignant reminder that in the darkest times, those who see most clearly are often those who suffer most.